Welcome to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. That felt like the longest game I have ever watched in my life.
Is this over yet? Like they did it to us again. I think somebody just got called a penalty right now in the locker room. I'm not sure. It's ridiculous.
Christ.
You look at the score sheet on this, on the penalties. I saw the tweet from the beat account. Good grief. There are so many penalties tonight. This is painful.
Yeah, I think in total it ended up being, what was it, like 26 penalties or something like that. 25.
Yeah, a lot of them are go both ways. So both teams get 6 power plays, but good grief. There's so much confusion going on in some of those penalty calls.
Like, it felt like basketball with how often the whistle was blowing.
It was.
So many stoppages.
I
know, because the best part about hockey is just it's quick moving and continuous. And the worst thing about basketball is all the stoppages. And that was like a basketball game. And I did not enjoy it.
The whole game. It was the whole game.
Except for the second period. The second period felt like 5 seconds compared to the first and the third. It really did. That's my takeaway.
Easy. No, I agree. I know. I don't even know how to say that. Petey's pants got called for a penalty. 4-2 loss. It's kind of what we expected, though. We talked a lot about on the podcast yesterday about Nashville and what kind of team they've been. They've 8-1-1 over the last 10. They're leading the Central Division. I know they get Forsberg is out with COVID just before puck drop, so that was kind of a big surprise. But it's still this is a good hockey team. I mean, they're deep. They can score. Their defense joined the rush. Their goaltender is one of the best in the league right now statistically. I mean, are we surprised we're sitting here talking about a Coyote loss? I don't think so.
No. And honestly, penalties aside, having been down 3-0 after the first to come out 4-2, like it could have been a lot worse. I feel like.
But you know what? You say that, but even going the other way, there were opportunities for the Coyotes to get some goals. And the shots, again, we talk about the shots are fairly even. Were the scoring chances? Look at that.
Oh, super chat.
Right away.
Coyotes and Predators about to make the Red Wings and Avs rivalry look like a Sunday picnic.
I know.
True. Something about these two teams, and we mentioned it on our podcast yesterday, the history between these two teams. I did eat.
And she sent pictures, so she proved it. But you're right. The rivalry between these teams goes back to, and Craig talked about it, the first game at Gila River Arena was between these two teams. You have the playoffs twice. So to build a rivalry, you need to play somebody in the playoffs. That's how you build a rivalry. Now, we know the Coyotes' playoff history is not long and prolific, but they've met the Predators twice and beaten them twice in their most recent playoff runs. So, yeah, it's starting to get to a little familiarity. I mean, not many of the players on the Coyotes are still there, but a lot of the Predator players were there 2 years ago. Man, this was a chirpy game right from the beginning.
Yep. From literally the first 2 minutes when Liam O'Brien dropped the gloves, when in a very odd fight, we saw Andrew Ladd get in a fight. It was just...
Can I talk about this for a second?
Yes.
Because now I'm going to turn some people off probably here. When we talk about fighting in hockey, I'm one, and I know there are fans, and you watch a game when there's a fight, people stand up and they're banging on the glass. People like fighting in hockey. I understand that. I'm a believer in fighting for the right reasons in hockey. And you had 2 fights tonight, and this highlights exactly what I'm talking about. So the O'Brien fight is off of a face-off planned fight. Nothing happened in the game. I mean, Nashville scored, yes, but there was no bad blood yet. There was no physicality. There were no sticks up. There was no big hits. Nashville just scored. And so I listened to Paul Bissonnette talk tonight, and he said, it got the team going and sparked the bench. But did it? Nashville gets 6 of the next 8 shots on goal are by Nashville. Nashville gets the next 2 goals and wins the period. So for me, that fight, I don't get it. I don't get what that did for the Coyotes other than putting O'Brien in the box again. So I like when O'Brien hits. I like when he plays with energy. I like when he plays tough. Can't do that from the penalty box. So that fight to me doesn't make sense. Now, Andrew Ladd, his fight, Clayton Keller was getting pushed around by Trenton. getting pushed in the face. He's your best player. He's leading your team in scoring. He's getting pushed around by somebody. Andrew Ladd skates from the red line to take on Trennan and pick a fight. I'm telling you, Ladd gets 2-5-10, takes the instigator in the penalty box for way too long, but he's sticking up for your best player. That's the fight I want to see. When you're sticking up for a teammate, that's the fighting that I think belongs in hockey, because the referee couldn't intervene in that. The ref wasn't going to make the call on that. If anything, he's going to call both. So hats off to Ladd getting in on. That's the fight I want to see in hockey. I'm Ladd's getting patted in the ass in the locker room tonight for sticking up for his teammate. What does O'Brien do? O'Brien later takes a roughing penalty later, and they score on that penalty. So Ladd's penalty, team kills off. Surprising? No, it's not surprising. Everybody goes, hey, look what he just did for us. We're going to kill this off. I don't know. That's my 2 cents on fighting. Sorry, I digressed.
No, that was a very good breakdown, and I have to agree with you. I know we'll have to hear what Craig has to say, because I know he's not a huge fan of fighting, but it's the difference between stage fighting and the physicality of standing up for your teammates in hockey.
The stage fights are all but out of the game now, because those type of players are all but out of the game, right? I mean, you used to see it literally every other game. You'd see the stage fight from the face-ups. You just don't see that anymore. Someone high sticks your teammate and you jump in. Yeah, for sure. Someone runs your goalie, fight them. I have no problem with those fights. The stage fights to me.
And it's funny because everyone on Twitter was saying, like, what's the record for most penalties in an NHL game? It's 85. So I looked it up. It's 85. And it's just because, like, the old time hockey was just crazy. So this game didn't come quite close to 85, but it was still a lot. It felt like a lot.
Yeah. And here Monsieur Stalin talk again about the Rangers and the Capitals, that game last year. Again, that's sticking up for teammates. That's sticking up for bullying. I mean, that's okay. Though that was a lot of fighting, but you're protecting your teammates. Again, you don't need to go over it and over it. There are so many things to talk about in this game that we don't need to highlight the fights, but it did become part of the narrative of the game, though, the chippiness. And we'll bring up one more point with the chippiness. After Krause's goal, there was so much confusion on what was going on with the call to the league, the discussion at the penalty box, and what was going on between the benches. And if you were watching on TV,
oh my God.
Yeah, the language was.
I wish we had like a PHNX mic'd up cam, like unfiltered, because I would pay like money for that.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Yeah, turn the volume down. But again, what that did, here's what happened. And this is one of those things. So the league is looking at the high stick. Okay, the league is looking for high stick to see if the high stick created the goal. Okay, that's all the league can look for. They don't look for the high stick then going directly to Krause, which by league rules, if that was a high stick and hit Krause's stick, the whistle should have been blown dead and the goal would not have counted. But because of the skirmish and the fights and all of the confusion between the benches and the guys getting called for penalties, the time clock for Nashville's coaching staff to be able to make a call to challenge the stoppage of play expired. So by the time Hines is going to the official saying, I want to challenge the high stick, the ref says, no, you can't. Time is expired. It's too late. You have 90 seconds. You missed it. You can't make the call. So because of that skirmish at center ice, the Krause goal stands. So it's a real interesting. I didn't know what the heck was going on, so I was texting as many people as I could get a hold of. But it's a strange call again. So the skirmish and the fighting and the name calling and the yelling back and forth really allows that goal to stand and kept the team in it right towards the end when they pulled the goal.
That's a really interesting rule, and I think it would have been really upsetting for Nashville if that had been the goal that sent it to overtime or had them lose. But luckily for them, it didn't. But fascinating game by all accounts. So there's our analysis of all the chippiness. Let's pull up tonight by the numbers and you'll really get a sense of just the penalties as well. 6 penalties. And that doesn't even, I feel like it's not even representative of all the
coincidental
offsetting. There were so many offsetting penalties as well. But looking at these numbers, the one that stands out to me is the Coyotes shots on goal, 40 shots on goal. It's not, we don't see that often from this team with that lacks some offensive output, but 40 shots on goal. But, Juuse Saros, just one of the top goalies in the league, made 38 saves, 29 shots by Nashville. Nashville is 1 for 6. Coyotes 0 for 6. You can't have 6 power play opportunities and not score. And then faceoffs pretty even. So
yeah, a couple things there. I thought Juuse Saros, and we talked about him yesterday in the Nashville podcast on how he is statistically one of the best goalies in the league right now. He's a guy that's going to be in the Vezina talk. He was lights out, and he just did it so calmly that you didn't think they were great saves. I mean, he smothered the rebounds. They didn't get second looks, and then he just sucked up the puck. And when that happens, the goalie doesn't have to look like he's a superstar. It just looked easy. The power plays, yeah, early they get a 5-on-3 in the first, and they got nothing. Like they got nothing out of it.
So much passing on the power play is like just fancy passing, and Nashville would intercept the puck and have chances the other way almost every time.
Yeah, so it's nice to have the power plays. You got to get momentum if you're not going to get shots off of it.
Yeah, so that was a little bit painful. But on that note, let's pull up your keys because it kind of all relates, and you're always right on it with your keys. No penalties. Well,
yeah, how'd that work out? That was over like literally 2 minutes into the game. You should just put a big line to strike through.
I guess you could kind of call it a win that Nashville only scored one.
I mean, it's the 5th best power play in the league right now. I think with Forsberg out of the lineup, it takes a little of their power play punch out. But clearly, no one listened to the no penalties thing, so it went both ways. So scratch that one. Defense involved in the offense. I mean, really, was there that much offense by the Coyotes tonight? I mean, Dineen delivered the puck to the net. I think one of the things we put that in there is because Nashville defense in their defensive zone, they collapse, meaning they bring their forwards down low, which gives more room to the defense. So I wanted pucks to go low to high. That's a lot to explain on a graphic, so I couldn't say that. And that's what I was hoping to see happen. And Yossi just drives
had a goal and an assist tonight.
I mean, he's the best player on the ice for both teams, and he's a veteran guy that just wants to stick it to the Coyotes.
Yeah, so they didn't really accomplish your keys, Petey, and that's why they lost.
Well, yeah, I mean that's better.
That's the single reason they lost is because they didn't listen to your keys.
Show is officially over.
Yep. And that's our analysis. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to download DraftKings.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Exactly. But we do got to talk about that goal, the Keller goal.
We do.
Because, is
this the one you drew?
No, it isn't the one I drew. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay. But we got to talk about Keller. Keller, we talked about it for the All-Star, right? I tell you what, does he ever look better?
He looked
strong tonight, and he looked inspired again tonight. He's turned it up this season. I tell you what, he's having a really good year. And let's go to the goal. We don't have the highlights. We'll pretend. The key to this,
we can't do our knee hockey highlights.
I know
that would be a good one.
We're not in studio still. We'll get back to studio someday. But the interesting thing about the goal is Travis Boyd's in the faceoff circle. He's taking the draw. He's the center on that line, and he gets kicked out. So if for him not getting kicked out of that circle, Keller doesn't get the opportunity because Keller's lined up on the inside right in front of the net as a winger, right? So Boyd gets kicked out. Keller takes the draw, and instead of most times the center tries to get it back to his defenseman for a shot, Keller pushes the puck forward. An unbelievable shot over the shoulder, hits him in the head actually, and goes in. So great individual effort by Keller. He got a breakaway coming out of the penalty box on the instigator penalty. I thought he was, again, an effective player in all zones of the ice. Great game by Keller.
Yeah, he, especially in that third period, he looked fantastic. And I guess just on that note, we'll just roll through all our graphics early. Clayton Keller was our DraftKings king of the game with his goal and 7 shots on goal. I mean, so he's getting the shots on net.
That is a massive crown. Is that Sean's placement?
That's Sean's crown placement. Chat, what do you think? This is, Sean is new to our show. What do you think of Sean's crown placement versus my crown placement versus Shane's crown placement? I would love to know.
Shane on the Sun Show, yeah. We can't remember back to Shane's Coyote placement. That's so long ago, isn't it? But if the one thing, even that graphic showed, if I'm Clayton Keller's dad, put in your damn mouth guard. I'm so sick of watching these Coyote kids, him, Fisher, put in the mouth guard. I paid for braces, kid. Put it in. It drives me nuts. You know what? And I told him that. I told both those guys that. I told Fisher that, and I told Keller that. Put your mouth guards in because there are kids watching. because my kid watches and I put braces on those teeth. You know what they said? They blamed it on Patrick Kane because he did it. So they had to do it.
Yeah.
Freaking
Anyway,
North Garden. I'm all over the place tonight.
Duo said Crown goes to the pups tonight. It was Pucks and Paws night. So I wish I was there to see the dog. They brought the dogs on the ice up for adoption. The Coyotes Twitter account tweeted out picture comparisons of the Coyotes players to the dogs. So good stuff. You know, you got to find the silver linings to losses like this. Also, my thought watching this game after, the other night, we had such a great time on the postgame show. Everyone was in a good mood. And then we were humbled again by this loss. And it was just a reminder. And I think they even said it on the broadcast, like, this isn't the Chicago Blackhawks,
I know. And we got all excited we'd be the Blackhawks. This isn't the Blackhawks that were raising the cup, 10 years ago. This is a team that's struggling in the cellar, just like the Coyotes. They lost to a better team. And you know what? They competed against a better team, and they were in it. I mean, let's call it the way we see it. If we flip the goaltenders tonight, it may be a different game. Saros was just that much better. I mean, he's an elite goalie in this league. And Vejmelka hasn't played 3 in a row since November 10th.
Yeah.
And he got pulled in that game against Minnesota. So I think he was good. Do I think he was great? Man, that's seeing Irister gets screened. He makes the great save on the first one that goes in on the rebound. I mean, not his fault. I mean, it's a tough night for a guy. He just needs more help, and he just didn't get it tonight.
Sean defending his crown placement in the chat.
Inside, he just measured it.
But Sean, last game, we didn't care as much because it was a win. So now we're nitpicking everything because it's a loss.
Exactly. But the good news for a loss, too, for the show, because that's all we're caring about here, is Craig will be up sooner because there are less interviews.
Well, Craig did text us that he was still waiting on Andre. So
was that true? Okay. Oh, you text us, like us?
You and me. You and me.
So you're checking your phone.
I have my phone open in front of me at all times during this show.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Because you don't know how to multitask. We've gone over this.
I don't, not technology-wise anyway.
Like that day when the Mikhail Makar goal happened and you hadn't seen it.
Didn't see it. But then when the show was over, I saw it like 60 times. Everybody retweeted. I saw it. Saw the goal. Great goal.
Okay, just on a little tangent. Speaking of Colorado's comeback tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They were down 4-1, come back, win it in overtime. You know who the Coyotes play next 2 upcoming games?
Next 3 games.
Leafs, Colorado. So that's what we thought, that Chicago to Nashville was like, it went from a chance to probably no chance was bad. How about that?
Just cue the wheel right now. And until we get back in the studio, somebody's going to have to drive by and pick up the wheel. We need the wheel. We potentially could need the wheel next week.
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
I might have to drive down to the office.
And the elevator music will have to return.
Yes, absolutely. Elevator Craig.
The other one. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to talk hockey again. Can talk.
I'm done.
No, I was just gonna say the other guy, Schmaltz, getting demoted to the 4th line. I talked to him about in Chicago, thought he skated better, and then he gets demoted to the 4th line because clearly no offensive output. First period,
he did have that one breakaway.
I know, but this is what happened. Rick Tocchet did the same thing to him last season. He demoted him to the 4th line. He picked it up and played well. You shouldn't have to demote a guy to the 4th line to get him to play. So, yes, he got a breakaway. He had shots on goal tonight. It shouldn't have to push a guy to do his job. So hopefully Schmaltz finds a way to get motivated and gets his feet moving and shows us the skill that he is capable of, because we just haven't seen it yet this season.
Yeah, it's really too bad. But players that we have been seeing have output. Do you hear my cat meowing, by the way? I'm so sorry.
That's ASMR. Is that ASMR?
I don't know, but that's like just what work from home is.
I like Joel Pretty at future Coyote Austin Matthews. So you get a preview of the future Coyote Austin Matthews next Wednesday at Gila River Arena against a team that
and Matthews scored twice tonight too.
I know, and they have this locked up, so they're going to be an angry Toronto team. Perfect.
Woohoo!
River.
And it's an 8:00 game.
Is it an 8:00 game on Wednesday?
It is.
It's national game on Wednesday, so we have to stay up late.
Yeah.
On a weeknight.
But anytime past 8:30 is past your bedtime. So
I know. See, if I agree, if they could play the Sabres, Chicago, and Montreal,
In
like
Seattle.
they should have their own division, and Seattle. I think that's great. Yeah, TNT national game Wednesday night at 8:00 against an angry Toronto team. Oh boy.
Yeah, we will see what happens there. Well, let's just take an aside from hockey once again and talk about football for 1 second, because the national championship for college football is coming up on Monday. And I know, Petey, that your DraftKings pick of the week is related to this game. Would you like to tell the people what that is?
I do. And I've watched all of these bowl games, not every game because there are too many, but I have watched a lot of bowl games during bowl season. As you know, my in-laws are here, so we've got to find something.
They're still here,
they are.
everyone. They
you can
are
only do so many
still
puzzles.
here.
So my DraftKings Sportsbook app pick of the week will be the College Bowl Series game on Monday night, Alabama versus Georgia, 1 versus 2, the rematch. They both beat each other once this season. Georgia right now is a 2.5-point favorite, but I am going to go with Alabama to win outright and take Alabama on the money line plus 120 for my DraftKings Sportsbook app pick of the week. Alabama with the win.
All right. Well, there you have it.
And watch that over too. It's 52. They're going to score a lot of points. There's going to be busy on the scoreboard guy. So I'd take the over too. All
right. Well, there's PD's DraftKings pick of the week. So you can bet on that game. You can also bet on like props in hockey games. There was a prop tonight on DraftKings, Lawson Krause anytime scorer.
There was, and someone I know on this show hit that.
And it wasn't Craig.
That would be me. So when I saw the high stick, I'm just waiting for, like, I knew they were going to call the Nashville was going to call it, and I just drop the puck. So yeah, I did hit this.
So look at Petey's on a little streak here, so you can ride him with his DraftKings pick of the week for that national game on Monday. And this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, new customers who bet $5 on any football team to win their game and do win $200 in free bets. So to capitalize on the end of college football season on the last week of the NFL regular season tomorrow by betting on a team to win, and or $5 on a team to win, and you'll win $200 in free bets. If they do, that's 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right.
Do you want to draw some stuff up?
Let's do Petey's Puck Talk.
We want to learn a little hockey.
And guess what? Is it going to be quote unquote negative?
It is.
All right. I think that was the only option from this game.
Yeah, but again, it ties into something we talked about last week. It's when a defenseman pinches, meaning they come from their blue line in the offensive zone, come down the wall to try to keep a puck alive. That's a defenseman pinching. You can do that when you have offensive port, meaning you have another player that can take your spot on the blue line and defend. And you look at the very first picture here, we have 3 forwards, Keller, Boyd, and Ladd, all on the forecheck, all down low in the zone. None of them are available to cover for the defenseman coming down the wall. They're not there to support the defenseman. So therefore, the defenseman cannot come down the wall and pinch. So when you go to the next slide, you're going to see Dyson Mayo come down the wall to pinch. And the red line just shows the separation we call above and below. Keller, I wish, would turn towards the middle of the ice where the Nashville players are so he can help defend, but I'm a defend first guy. So Keller is clearly an offensive guy. He thinks the puck's coming back down the wall. He's going to try to score. But Dyson Mayo cannot go because there are more Nashville players above the red line, meaning closer to the Coyotes' goal than there are Coyote players. Dyson Mayo can't pinch. So that's problem 1. Next slide. That causes a 4-on-1. I got to give it to Mayo here. Great back check. He gets back in the play. He's able to take a Nashville player to the net. So kudos to him for getting back in. Like, he didn't quit. He kept coming. And next slide. But what happens on they got out of order. Was that me? Yeah, that was the start of play. You can go to the next one, Sean. So from behind, this is the 4-on-1. And when you have a 4-on-1, Gostisbehere is doing his best to get in the shooting lane and protect that puck. Mayo gets all the way back into the play, so it now is almost a 3-on-2. The problem now, so we've had 1 mistake with Mayo pinching, 2 mistake as Keller turned towards the outside instead of the inside. Now the 3rd mistake, and we always say it takes more than 1 mistake to cause a goal. Ladd is back checking, and Ekholm is the guy that gets the goal. And you can see in this picture, and I know if you're listening at home, trust me, lad's legs are straight. He's got to keep skating. He's got to catch Ekholm. His job right now is to get Ekholm's stick. I know he's thinking the shot's going to get taken, but he's got to back check all the way back to the net. You have to back check all the way back, because if he's skating, he's able to get his stick underneath Ekholm's stick, and there is no rebound. So on the shot, Vejmelka makes an unbelievable save. But go to the last slide. The puck comes right to Ekholm. So if Vlad takes that back check all the way, he gets under Ekholm's stick, and there's no goal. So you talk about 3 mistakes. The D pinches when he shouldn't. Keller turns to the inside, and Lad doesn't back check. It's never, that's not fair. It's not often just one thing. It's a mistake followed by a mistake. But like we've said almost every time, it's the speed of the game, and everything is happening so quickly that you have to see it through the player's eyes. Mayo thinking, I can beat that Nashville player to that puck, so I'm going to go. Keller's thinking he's going to beat him to that puck, so I'm going to turn the other way and be all alone in front of the net. And if Mayo makes that play, Keller's standing in front of the net all alone for a tap in. So you see how it happens, but it's frustrating when it goes the other way. And you get in the coach's room, and you always look at those little mistakes and you blame guys easily. And it's really hard because you're trying to put yourself in their shoes on what they're thinking. So there will be a quiz on the next show. There will be.
I hope everyone was taking notes during that. It's really always interesting watching your breakdown, Petey, because you say it happens so fast, and from a fan perspective, you just see it all of a sudden turn the other way and go in. So thank you for that breakdown. Unfortunately, Mayo was a -3 just after the first period, so not his best night, and Gostisbehere was a -3 as well after one. So,
but you talk about Mayo too. If you look at his mistakes. And his minuses, that one just there, that was a race to the puck that he thought he could win. One of them, he screens the goalie at the last minute on a penalty kill because he's trying to do the right thing and defend the Nashville player on the other side of the net. If that shot doesn't happen on that very instant that Mayo is blocking Vejmelka's line of sight, he gets in the way of the Nashville defender, and he stops a potential rebound play. So he's really trying to do the right thing. He's not maliciously making mistakes. He's not making lazy mistakes. He's not doing things because he's not trying hard enough. He is trying to do the right thing. It's just unfortunate that 3 times ended up in the net.
Yeah. I really want a PD's Puck Talk certificate. You will get one. If you pass the test at the end of the year.
And they think we're kidding you, but there will be a test and there will be certificates.
I just got a flashback from my teachers in school saying there will be a quiz.
I know. It just sucks.
Man. By the way, we just got a text from Craig. He's in the elevator. So elevator Craig is a go. We need to get a Craig cam from his journey from downstairs back up to the press box. Truly, I think that could be a new segment. In the elevator with Craig. But before Craig gets here, we'll just hype this up a little. There's an arena story coming tomorrow.
Again.
Oh, but it's what the people want to know, because right now there is no arena.
I talked to my friends in Nashville, and they asked me, that's the first thing they asked me today, is where are we going to be going to the games next year?
So there's
another
the
story.
Tease. There's the tease.
Is that on PHNX tomorrow?
I literally almost just said an elevator story because everyone in the comments is talking about elevator Craig. An arena story tomorrow on gophnx.com. So if you're not a member yet, become a member tonight, and you can sign up for your first month, 50 cents, or get a year and get a shirt when you do the year. And then if you get your membership tonight, you can read that story tomorrow, as well as all the other incredible stories at gophnx.com. There's coverage of all the teams. The Suns also lost tonight. Suns and Coyotes both won Thursday, both lost tonight. So we can't all have nature balancing out nature, I guess. But the Suns record is still the reverse of the Coyotes record. So, but be sure to become a member because there's tons of perks. You can join our members only Discord. You can get members only deals on merchandise. So check it out. Become a member today. I just ordered a sticker pack. I ordered the Back the A shirt. I ordered the Southwest Bias shirt. So there's just
I
a ton
know
of stuff.
I've got my U of A shirts on the way too. Sticker pack, I don't.
We had to talk about it before Craig got here because I don't need Craig's comments about U of
sticker
A.
packs. Oh, about U of A. I was gonna say sticker packs too. I might have aged out of the sticker pack guy. Like, I'm not gonna sticker pack up my water bottle. I just don't. I don't see it.
But what about your whiteboard?
I do. Oh yeah. See, there you go, thinking again. Or the goalie mask we have on studio too. We should sticker the hell out of that.
Yeah, I think I need to make a studio run this week. Oh, speaking of the devil,
It's time. I'm not even gonna
Craig
sing the song
Skulls.
today. Craig
I
Skulls.
will.
I'm the devil.
What? I didn't say that.
You did say that. I heard that.
Well, Craig,
What have you guys been talking about while I'm not here?
Oh,
It's suspicious. I'm feeling
well, I did my
insecure.
2 cents on fighting. I talked about my beliefs on that. We talked about penalties. A lot of penalties. And
that was the story.
The pace of this game just never really picked up. You have a team in the Coyotes that's been skating well and creating offense. You've got a team in the Nashville Predators that's 4 lines deep and can play. And it just got ruined by all of these penalties. There was no flow. There were too many penalties, too many power plays, too much chippy play. And the skating game that we saw against Chicago, we just didn't get an opportunity to see tonight.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, Craig.
Drive
Okay,
home
great
safe.
show, guys. Yeah, awesome.
Drive home safe, Craig.
I mean, Andre Tourigny liked their pushback. You know, you're down 3 goals, I guess. Look, the other team's not going to play the same way when they're up 3 goals on the road. So that's part of this. The Coyotes just didn't look very good in the first period. And I can't even say it was all of the Coyotes. I mean, there were some bad mistakes that I'm guessing you diagrammed and talked about already, Petey.
Yeah, we did.
Not the
It's
best
too bad
night
for
Dyson
Mayo.
Mayo. Yeah.
Too bad. You know what, Craig, we talked about his mistakes. Those are mistakes that are effort mistakes. He's trying. It's not like he's giving up on a play. He tried. And it's just too bad. Too bad because he is trying to do the right thing.
Yeah. And listen, most of the season he's been eating up minutes and he's been fine. So just one of those nights in the NHL, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to
to?
Did you have any player availability after?
The only person we talked to was Andrew Ladd, who, by the way, I mean, Andrew Ladd's unbelievable at breaking down a game. I've always said this. It's really hard to sit up there and field questions out of left field. You don't know what's coming, and you have to deliver a good analysis in an instant. You don't even have time to think about the questions. Man, he does it as well as anyone. He can really break down a situation, and he did that tonight. But look, he said it. We didn't come out in the first period, and that was pretty much the story. You dig yourself that kind of hole. Yeah, we liked our pushback, but how do we avoid putting ourselves in that situation in the first place?
Yeah. It was interesting. Normally that hole comes in the second period. For once, the Coyotes kind of switched the first and second period pattern, much to Sean's dismay, because I believe he bet against the Coyotes specifically in the second. Another thing you can do on DraftKings.
Wow. Am I here just to lead into the DraftKings read?
No,
Is that what's going on here?
No.
It's already done.
He did all the reads before you got here.
You've done everything, right? It's been like 50 minutes somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah.
We talked to one player and the coach.
I know, man. But what Petey was saying in the beginning was, and I know kind of where you stand on fighting, but the difference between the O'Brien fight and the Ladd fight, and I'm curious what your 2 cents is on Ladd's actions in the third period.
You got to do that. You're expected to do that. You have to come to the defense of your teammate. I get that. Andrew Ladd did exactly what you would expect a leader to do. The Liam O'Brien stuff, I don't know. I just listen. I know that hockey culture believes that fighting makes a difference, and like I said, in Ladd's instance, you had to do what you did. I haven't seen a lot of evidence that fighting really impacts the game one way or the other. I know that's the interior belief, but when you look at data, not really. Fighting doesn't do much to impact games, and based on, like I said, based on actual data and just analyzing it. But anyway, that was just a small part of this game tonight. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, and Craig, no, just there's a question on the comments about Ladd right now, and they're saying showing his veteran presence and his leadership roles. Do you think there's a chance he can stick around as a veteran in next year?
There might be, right? I haven't minded Andrew Ladd. Have you? I mean, I haven't looked at Andrew early in the season. I watched Andrew Ladd and thought, wow, I don't think this guy belongs in the NHL anymore. But of late, I don't think he looks out of place, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought in training camp and in the preseason games, we said he's too slow, can't play. He probably won't play in the regular season. And we were saying play games in the regular season. He played on the top line tonight. He's playing important minutes, and he has become a veteran leader. And we said it from the beginning. It's the group of veterans they've brought in here are all NHL leaders. They do things the right way. They prepare the right way. And that's Beagle. That's Roussel. Even Riley Nash, the new player that they've added. He's a guy that does
first
it the
point
right way.
tonight as a Coyote, by the way.
When he plays the right way, right? So, I mean, he's above 50% in the faceoff circle tonight. So they've got a lot of those guys. And if you're rebuilding and you're not going to win, you better have the right mix in the locker room to lead these young guys in the right direction. So
Riley Nash playing for his fifth team since the start of the 2021 season. I don't even know how you do something like that. But
it's not his last probably this year.
No, it probably isn't. But you mentioned all of those guys. I think about what it would have been like to have all these guys in their prime, where you're just as a reporter, you're requesting these guys all the time. They have so many good quotes on this team. All these veterans are really good guys to talk to, but you don't have a lot of occasion to talk to them because they're not producing points the way they used to. They're not big parts of the game like they used to be.
Yeah, and Erickson was scratched tonight and Thursday's game. Is that more so just a rest thing, would you say?
Yeah. That's just not having any impact on the game. That's just the reality of it for Louis Erickson.
And he's one of the guys that the veterans that I didn't think would be on the outside looking in early. And I said Ladd I thought would be. I thought Erickson in training camp and the beginning of the season, I thought he looked sharp, and he just hasn't been able to put it together. So, you're jumbling up the lines as best you can to get that offensive push, and
you got no centers.
And when they did play 5-on-5 tonight, Craig, I thought it was a decent game.
When they played 5-on-5.
Yeah, there just wasn't enough of it. And I think if you're going to play Nashville, you need to play 5-on-5.
Yeah.
And I think that's the recipe to beat them. You dump the puck in, you make sure you make contact with the OC on every single play. So the puck has to get behind the goal line. F1 has to make contact with the OC. You don't have to hurt them. Just let them know you're there. And you do that play after play after play after play. And it makes it more difficult for those defensemen to retrieve pucks. And I think that's how this team has been able to beat Nashville in the past. And they just weren't able to do that tonight because they couldn't play 5-on-5.
Yeah. Matt, getting back to, and I don't know if you guys mentioned this earlier, but the center depth Jay Beagle's out 8 weeks to maybe the rest of the season. And as I reported earlier today, Barrett Hayton's out. Barrett Hayton's going to miss 5 to 8 weeks with a hand surgery. They do think he'll come back this season. They want him to come back. Part of it was, get it done now so you can come back and play. But we're talking mid-February to early March before he returns. So both of those centers are out of the lineup. Nick Schmaltz can't even play center right now. He can't take draws because his hand hasn't fully healed. So, they're just a mess up the middle right now. They were at the start of the season. Let's admit it. But now Travis Boyd is your number one center again. And Travis Boyd he has proved he can play in the NHL when a lot of people thought he was at best a fourth line center, but there's no reality in which Travis Boyd belongs as your number one center.
No, but is there a reality that Travis Boyd can be a guy that can be picked up at the trade deadline for a team that's looking for a bottom six forward that works hard, can get around the net, and can win draws?
He's producing too. So.
Yeah,
he was on the power. He was also on the power play a little bit.
He was there when they pulled goalie 6-on-5. He's net front there. And you tell me that in his career he's had the 6-on-5 and he's on the ice with Travis Boyd. No chance.
Nope.
And so he's getting to play. We talked about Keller never being out on a PK. Well, Travis Boyd hasn't been out in those situations in his career. And he's answered the bell. Like he is producing. So I do think this is what's going to be interesting. As we get closer, and I know we watch the standings and the ping pong balls. The other thing is to watch what happens at the trade deadline to some of these guys. Krause, Chychrun, Boyd, Gostisbehere. What is this team going to look like the next week after the trade deadline?
Yeah, I don't think Ghost is going anywhere this season, but those other guys all could be headed elsewhere. And then, you better make sure you have enough bodies to fill both this roster and Tucson's roster because
right now, half of Tucson is on this team.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that game, Tucson is in overtime. It's 2-2 against Colorado. So that game is currently in overtime. I'm refreshing Twitter as we speak too.
I know that's because they were down, right?
They were down
2-1.
Oh, well, there was another game where a team was down and then won in overtime tonight, wasn't there, Leah?
There was. We did mention that because the Coyotes' next two opponents are Colorado and Toronto, and then Colorado, and Colorado came back 4-1 and won in overtime against the Leafs. And we were saying that now the Leafs are going to come here angry, and it's a national game on TNT. Yeah. So we just have to bottle that joy we felt on Thursday and just remember that feeling to get through the next 10 days.
They do play the night before in Vegas, so maybe they'll be tired out. But yeah,
let's just hope they don't come in even more angry after losing 2 to Colorado and then Vegas and then roll into Arizona.
I was looking at the Colorado thing too, and looking at Carolina. Did Carolina win tonight? Did they beat Florida?
I will find out. But
look at all this dead air.
I know. That's good TV.
Florida won in overtime.
Okay. Because I've been looking at Carolina and Colorado thinking, can you imagine if these two teams end up in the Cup final and the Coyotes get like the 31st and 32nd picks out of those first round picks to get
after all that work.
After all that, and then you'll be talking about a bunch of early second round picks. So that scouting staff will be like under the gun if that's the case. If they make all those picks at that point, I wonder if they will actually make all those picks. But I don't see Montreal going on enough of a run to get out of the bottom 10 at this point. They just
no.
I don't even know if they're trying anymore. I don't know if they care anymore.
No, not at all. Well, Craig, any other takeaways from tonight's game?
Just that the Coyotes are off tomorrow, and so am I.
Good.
Did you see Debug's Eggs comment Hagelin with his own goal?
Oh, yeah, in Washington.
Craig? Have you seen the Washington Capitals' own goal? Haven't seen that in a long time. 6-on-5 delayed penalty call on the Wild, and Washington's attacking. Hagelin tried to throw it back to his point man, missed him all the way back into his
scored.
Own net. Yep.
So things could be worse.
Things could be worse.
Man, rebuild reminder. By the way, Erin, formerly a producer of the show, is in Nashville tonight. And she sent a video to us of her on the streets.
Did I tell her to go there just like the Minnesota game?
You should tell her to go to Carter Hutton's
she was in the wrong city.
Winery.
She booked tickets to go to a Minnesota game.
She should go to Love and Exile. She should go there. That's a great spot.
You should text her because I imagine, what time is it in Nashville? 11 o'clock? No, she might be in bed by now.
There's no way it's a Saturday night.
Lord, I hope not.
Saturday night
Nashville?
No way.
Oh boy.
Not everyone goes to bed before midnight, Petey.
Check the hospitals and the jails.
All right. Well, Craig, what?
Before I go here, Leah, I do have an arena story moving tomorrow.
We did already.
An arena, like another one. So they're getting in the ground in Tempe.
It is focused on Tempe. So
neat. Can't wait to read it.
Yeah.
By the way, before you go, also, so we want to hit 2,500 Twitter followers by the end of January.
Yeah, I'm kind of angry that we're not there already.
And I think that we should incentivize this. Kind of like when Espo threatened he would take a slap shot, which is happening, by the way. But if we hit 2,500 Twitter followers on PHNX_Coyotes by the end of January, what should be the reward for that?
Who do we reward though? I mean, that's a lot of people to reward.
No, will you chug an IPA?
We'll chug an IPA for 2,500.
His face.
I know.
I don't know. Craig's always the one taking the punishment. Craig's eating the hot dog.
If anybody's going to follow us, Leah, it's going to be Craig. Like we can at least admit that. It's going to come from the minions. We get it.
Chug an IPA if we get to 25.
I mean, we don't
chug like I have to shotgun this beer.
Just drink it. We just drink it.
Are we going to do like a funnel or something, like a beer bong? What's this going to look like? Can you get one of those? Yeah, you can get one of those that goes on my head.
I got one like Leah's got leg.
Yeah, exactly.
All
right.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's just lowering myself.
Well, exactly.
All right. You want me to drink an IPA? Well,
yes.
How about if I just finish an IPA?
Yes.
If we get to 2,500 by the end of January.
All right.
All right. I'm in.
First.
And if you tell the minions that, Craig,
okay,
and you can't get them to respond.
You know that chloroseptic spray that you can spray in your mouth to numb it completely? Yeah, that's what I'm going to do before I drink the IPA. But don't tell anyone that.
By the way, Spencer asked how many followers for PD to do a positive. Well, the Coyotes need to give him something positive to talk about first.
I will. Spencer, I'm sorry. I will definitely try it.
Oh my God.
Leah, did you have rice again tonight?
No, I didn't. But Leah's rice cooking class, Craig chugs an IPA and PD has to stay up and...
What was that?
I don't know where Leah lives.
Yeah, seriously, what's going on there?
I'm wondering. The street racing going on outside. Tokyo Drift outside her apartment.
Seriously, what was that?
Oh,
We need answers here, Leah. We need answers.
I know.
It's fine. We need to go back to the studio soon.
I know. We do need to get back to the studio
It's
soon.
been a while.
That must be
I know.
nice
All right,
for those
Craig.
of you who actually work in the studio. So
I actually don't mind this from home, Leah. I'm not going to lie because I can get to bed sooner.
there it is. So, Petey, wait, Petey, can we verify, in fact, that you are wearing pants tonight?
I am tonight.
You're just saying that, but we have no proof.
you're just going to have to trust me because if I don't, it would.
Oh, yeah.
Whew. No, my in-laws are still here, so the pants are still on.
Well, I mean,
By the way,
that
if you're
could be
counting
another
at
way to
home-
get us to 2,500 followers, though.
If you're counting at
You
home,
know?
Craig, this is day 18.
Aren't they leaving tomorrow, Petey?
And
Are they leaving
you know what we're
tomorrow?
going to do
They extend their stay.
tomorrow? You know what we're going to do on the next show? And this is not a lie. We have put together six 1,000-piece puzzles during those 18 days. And that is not a joke. And they're all glued together and they're all sitting right over there.
Wait,
We glue
glued?
them. Oh, yeah. We clear glue them after. You never
So that you
clear
can
glue a
never
puzzle?
take them apart again? Is that the idea?
Yeah, and then you can have them for memories. What are you gonna do? You can do the same puzzle twice? Who does that? What's kind of sick
Most-
person does the same puzzle twice?
Most people, Petey. Most people.
No, they don't.
Wait, you
put it-
glued your puzzle, and
I
are you
have
gonna, are you going to display it on a wall? Is
the
there a
one of them
puzzle
I'm going
room
to.
in your house?
There's a Paul Bunyan and Babe Blue Blocks puzzle we did that will be going up on my wall. As a matter of fact, it might go up in here. That's 100%.
Oh,
I have glued.
wow.
We've glued every puzzle together since they've been coming here for Christmas. I have them all saved. We write on the back. We have puzzles that were done in the pandemic, and you flip them over and it says pandemic puzzle, and it dated them. Yes, they're all glued together, and I saved them all.
Buddy, I had no idea the depth of your neuroses. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's with Mod Podge. If anybody knows what Mod Podge is, the clear crafting glue. It's a true story. We will bring them out.
Oh
I will
boy,
bring them out. Well, I will have one back here on the
you
next.
got it.
show.
You got to
I'm
put one on.
speechless.
Put one
I
on
will
an
display
easel
a
or
new
something. Yeah,
puzzle.
there you go.
Sammy D, who glues? Well, I glue. But I will have a different puzzle for every show that we're not in the studio. I will display a new puzzle back here.
All right.
Okay.
I have enough to last the rest of the season, so be careful.
Oh my God.
We digressed. We didn't talk about hockey.
It's there. What else is there to talk about? I don't know.
Well, I'm very concerned because we knew Nashville was going to be good. I am concerned about Toronto. This is not a good matchup. The speed, size, depth. Oh boy, and even worse against Colorado. Because if you remember the drubbings this team has taken at the hands of the Colorado Avalanche over the last few seasons, Colorado is rolling. They've got everybody back, and I would imagine Darcy Kemper wants to roll into Gila River Arena and have a good game. Just a hunch.
Think Gila River Arena. Oh, by the way, did you read what's coming to Gila River Arena to replace the Coyotes? The professional bull riding tour or whatever it's called. They're gonna have bull riding here. A bull riding team.
A team? Is that
Look
a
at all-
thing?
I guess so. I look at
I
look
bet
at the way,
you.
look at the ways Glendale's replacing the revenue here.
I bet you can bet on bull riding on. The
I'll
draft
bet you can too.
sportsbook app.
Have you watched bull riding? Bull riding is actually
I mean,
crazy.
I've
and
been to a
cool.
rodeo before.
It's nuts. It's like
I
the
watch
one part of rodeo
Yellowstone.
that I actually like.
Does that count?
Watch
That's,
Yellowstone.
that can not count.
Oh, boy. Do you have a? No, I'm not going to ask it. Never mind.
Any Coyotes puzzles? No, I do not.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask bull riding puzzles. Who knows?
I do
But-
not.
Okay.
WhiteMountainPuzzles.com if anybody's looking for the best puzzles out there.
Not an
White-
ad. That should be
not a
that-
sponsored.
That should
piece.
be though. Should be. Oh Lord. Oh,
The
there's
depth.
a PD sigh. All right, we're off the rails, just like the Coyotes and Predators were tonight. Craig, we'll let you go so you can get started on your
Does
day.
Craig want to talk about ASU before he goes?
ASU. You mean
ASU.
Did you see their weekend?
ASU didn't have a great weekend
Did
against
not have a great
BU.
weekend.
did? They're
7-1, 5-2 losses.
they're done. They're done. You can't
Yeah.
you can't get swept. BU's not even that good. Listen, they weren't healthy, but they weren't that good this season. You can't go on the road and get swept there. ASU's 2-8 on the road. You're not
Wow.
going to the tournament.
Which
You're
is
not going to the
crazy
tournament.
based on the fact that they spent that entire season on the road. So you would think that they'd have better road success.
They've lost momentum. It's too bad. A
It's too
couple
bad
seasons
with
ago,
all the
everything
seniors
was
they brought
looking
in.
so good. Yeah, but
Yeah. Maybe
gonna
the
have
new
to figure
arena,
out
Craig.
yeah, exactly. That's a recruiting tool. So
And Josh Doan will be a year older and wiser. And
he had a goal tonight. So
Yeah.
So there'll be bright things ahead. We'll talk ASU next week. I'm sure we'll have time in our podcast to catch up.
Oh
with
my
all
gosh,
the news.
Aaron is in the chat.
What is Aaron doing in the chat?
She's not in jail.
Okay, that's good. Where are you? Where are you, Slindy?
Craig, a lot of questions.
Yes.
Or she's not in jail or the hospital.
You
Well,
should go to Love and Exile. You got to go to Love and Exile. I'm telling you.
See, as a parent, that's the first question I ask my son is, are you in the hospital or in jail? And if he's not, then it was a good night. Then it's a win. Craig, somebody else asked, there's been several questions in a discussion in the chat about Evander Kane. So it's another topic for next week, not tonight, but just something else we'll touch on next week when we go around the NHL about Evander Kane's current situation. So give us another topic.
You saw that the PA is going to file a grievance. I was worried for a minute that you're saying people are asking, should the Coyotes pick him up?
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's saying that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to agree with this comment. If Aaron is sober enough to be posting in a chat from Nashville, then it's a fail. For those who've been in Nashville on Broadway, if you can come out of that and you can still walk back to your hotel, I'm not sure if it's a good night if you're not stumbling down Broadway. Not that I've ever done that before.
No, of course
clearly not. You're in your hotel room doing 2,000-piece puzzles.
Clearly, I stayed in my room.
All right, get me out of here.
Okay, goodbye, Craig. Have a good day off
Craig,
tomorrow.
we'll see you when we see you. What, do we have a show Monday or Tuesday? I don't know. Do we know?
We'll figure that out, Petey.
Figure it out.
I'll see you when we see you, Craig.
All right, bye, Craig.
Get home safe.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was another edition of Craig's Calls.
Yeah, I'm sighing again.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that was a good game, but I'm not sure if it was. It just took forever.
It just took forever.
And when I talked with Nashville, all they had to do tonight, they just had to play 60 minutes of Nashville Predator hockey. They needed to not get puck focused, puck hungry, trying to get points. If they just went out there and played 60 minutes, this is the game that they were going to win. There were moments that the Coyotes were able to put together some offensive push. Unfortunately, few and far between. Penalties broke up the momentum. And again, they had to pull a goalie with 3 minutes left in the game trying to make a comeback. And we've seen it over and over and over. The third period, the good news is this team doesn't quit. They don't give up and they don't die because they still have the effort right till the buzzer. Unfortunately, you can't give a team like Nashville a 2-goal lead in the third period. You just can't.
No. But once again, seeing the fight till the end. So one day it will continue to translate on the score sheet. Let's pull up the punch card.
Punch card. No, this is starting to get depressing, the punch card. Are you out of your mind? That's all the farther we are?
Speaking of things feeling long, how about this season?
It's freaking middle of January, for God's sakes. Isn't it? Is this COVID's fault? Yeah, I suppose we're about 4 or 5.
Yeah, they would have been, yeah.
But good Lord, that is a long way to go, Leah. That's a long way to go. That's a lot of hockey left. How many more wins? I don't know. That's 7 wins in the first 33.
Who's good at math? Not me.
Yeah, we're still saying under 20. Like it's going to be under. And especially we talked about the trade deadline. What happens when they lose? What happens when they lose 3 or 4 players from a team that's already in last? Then where are they going to go?
PD, it's the rebuild reminder.
No, I know. And that last stretch of post draft or post trade deadline team is going to be miserable. It's going to be the 14-15 Dave Tippett, the Rick Bonus 1-21. It's going to be those kind of seasons where it is going to be awful.
But you know
Kinda
what?
like it was in the beginning.
We will be here for you through it all. The Wheel of Fantasy will be out in full effect.
Yeah.
And
we clear off the dust. It's coming out.
It's coming. It's coming.
It could come next weekend.
So be sure.
And we have our sister station in Denver. I don't know, like I don't even want to get into explaining what money on the board is, but our show revolves around betting, and we understand that. Are we going to bet with the DNVR show?
Can I bet?
They got to give us some goals
for the Avalanche.
Well, they got to give us some goals. Like we got to take the Coyotes against the Denver show. I get it, but they've got to give us what is it? Not a DraftKings goal and a half. Like we need to get 3 or 4. We'll have to talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
We'll get them on during the week.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it.
So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, PHNX Sports, so you never miss a show. We're here for you. Pack therapy. We'll get through the season together, and it's fine. We're all doing great. Also, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. It's super helpful when we're not doing our postgame shows. We're also releasing podcasts throughout the week. So be sure to check out those because a lot of great information on there. Yesterday, we previewed this Nashville team. So great insight. Craig got to talk to Riley Nash. So if you want to go back and listen, do that wherever you get your podcasts. And I guess that's it.
Yeah,
I sound so dejected and deflated.
Ruler 14
I
says
am.
another Roadrunner check. We do need to do another Roadrunner check.
Yeah,
up
we
here
do.
next week. So
we do.
Expect that next week sometime.
Who won in overtime?
Oh, yeah. Way to
I
go,
guess I'll
Leah.
pull that up.
Way to
I know.
go.
I feel like I should know.
3-2
Sorry.
Colorado.
In a shootout.
Yep.
Well,
But
Suns lost, Roadrunners lost, Coyotes lost, ASU lost. Will the Cardinals lose tomorrow? I don't know. Be sure
who do they
to
play tomorrow? I don't even know.
the
Should I know
Seahawks.
that? Oh yeah, I did know that. Seattle.
Yes.
You produce the show. She better know
I
that.
do produce the Cardinals show. So tune into that tomorrow after the Cardinals game. Last week of the regular season for the NFL. Bet this week. Promo code PHNX. $5 on an NFL team to win to get your $200 in free bets. And then you can bet on the college football championship if you want. Okay. I think we're done. I got nothing else to say. Everyone loses.
Everyone loses.
We got to start fresh next week. It's fine. Future Coyote Austin Matthews is in town next week, so that's what we have to think about. Okay.
Yes, we'll talk about him a lot next week. I have a feeling.
Yes, we will. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, for joining us for Pack Therapy. We appreciate you all. Please follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. We are trying to hit 2,500 followers by the end of January. Craig will finish an IPA. Please.
I will wear pants. No, wait, it's the other way around. Never mind. Sorry.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for joining us, and we will see you all next week. Bye.